Hey, my name is Ivy and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a down and dirty. I'm looking and lusting over my wish list and talking myself out of buying things. Hopefully talking you out of things that you don't need either. If that sounds good to you, keep watching because that's what we're going to do. I talked about this in my last video about how I'm currently on a no buy and I'm feeling really good about that decision. I'm sticking with it and I'm feeling pretty good about it right now. That said, there are frequently times where I find my brain still kind of reaching for that self-soothe mechanism. And in those times, sometimes I'm still browsing. Actually, I'm considering, I haven't committed to this yet, but I loved Hannah Louise Poston's idea of limiting her shopping browsing to the weekends in order to basically cull some of that behavior during the week that she found to be very unproductive. And I too find myself in that same bucket where I have that browsing behavior. It's definitely a time-wasting kind of behavior that I don't find particularly productive. I could definitely be doing better things with my time. I want to limit how much I'm doing that. So I'm thinking about doing the same thing where I only do it on the weekends, which I'm not really on the computer on the weekends anyway. I'm out living life with my family. So that's probably a good rule for me, but I haven't been quite committed to that. And so I'm still kind of shopping even if I'm not buying. And that is definitely a behavior that I want to work on for myself. That's a goal. But what I have now is a wish list. And when I do see something that I'm interested in buying, I add it to the wish list. I revisit that wish list frequently to decide what stays on it and what goes. And the best thing about having a wish list is that I can look at it months later, days later, hours later, and sometimes just be like, wait, I definitely don't actually want that thing. It was a momentary lapse in judgment and it's going away. The things that long-term stay on the wish list are up for potential purchase. And eventually, maybe when I'm not on a no buy, I might purchase them or I might not. But wish listing is allowing my brain to sort of like tick a box, take an action, do something that feels semi-productive, even if it's not actually productive, and kind of put it to the side. So that's really what I've been doing. I've been wish listing and I've been revisiting my wish list and editing my wish list. And now I have a wish list that I thought would be fun to share with you guys, just to talk you through what's been on my brain. Some of the things are new, some of the things are old. I'm going to talk myself out of them and then I'm going to talk you out of them in turn. Are you ready? Let's do it. I have been falling in love, I think as many of you know, with Asian beauty more recently. I've been trying a lot of cbeauty brands, a lot of kbeauty brands, a lot of jbeauty brands. For those of you that don't know, I'm talking about Chinese makeup, Korean makeup, Japanese makeup. A lot of that started when I did start following creators, primarily on Instagram, that are big proprietors of that beauty. Freya, who I absolutely love, wonderful creator, showcases the most beautiful gothy makeup. And similarly, Ghoul in Japan, who I also love, showcases such beautiful, just everything cute and dark and ghoulish and gothy, and I love it. I love it. I love it all so much. I'm learning to sort of appreciate them, their aesthetic, and what they showcase, and differentiate that a little bit more from what I actually physically need and want to own. Because if I bought everything that they showed off that I thought looked cool, I would just be in a submerged sea of makeup that I don't need. There are some things that they've showed off and other creators have showed off that I'm like, yeah, that's super dope. I really want that. There's a couple of things on the wish list, namely a few things from the brand Joocyee. They recently came out with this limited edition collection, of which I have some of the pieces of makeup from that collection. There's a beautiful single shadow that's kind of this gold green reflect shade that I just love it. Every time I see it, I'm like, yes, that looks so beautiful. Do I probably have shades that are similar, if not the same? Assuredly. For that reason, has like stayed on the wish list. They came out pretty recently, I want to say, with this new kind of nude palette that very much in color reminds me of the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette, which I never purchased, but when I did see this Joocyee version of that palette, I've been so tempted by it. It's definitely for basic Ivy, meaning on days when I would really want to be kind of a basic girly. This is the kind of palette I would reach for, do a very nude look with a little bit of sparkle. Looks beautiful. But similarly to probably everything else I'm going to talk about in this video, I have stuff stuff like this. I do. Even if I don't have it all in one palette, exactly laid out this way in this beautiful, you know, style and acrylic nature, whatever it is, I have what's there, and I probably have better versions of what's there. Do I need this? Absolutely not. Does it still call to me with its beautiful simplicity and its like clean lines and its sexiness? Absolutely. It's going to be on the wish list for a little bit. There was just a new release of products from Girl Cult. Girl Cult has also intrigued me. I've tried a number of their quads, which I really like and enjoy. I am super tempted by the new quads. There's one that's like all hollow shades or similar, you know, all topper shades. I have gorgeous, gorgeous topper shades for days. And this is kind of actually a very neutralized version of that. So there's nothing in it that actually is totally grabbing me, even though as a set of 4, it's very cute. You know, anytime there's a new release, there's something about something being new that sort of pulls you in. But I am resisting the urge and again, keeping it on the wish list. I don't know, there's something about the style of this collection that makes me think of like Mad Max Fury Road, and I can feel those vibes, those end of the world vibes with it, where that really appeals to me. But we're gonna be good, but I think it's cute. For those of you that don't know, I have been kind of on a journey of trying this brand Narimi. Narimi Z is a Asian makeup artist, I believe, and has come out with a number of palettes. And I really, really, really have been enjoying the palettes that I have. One of them I was gifted, which is the, I always get this wrong, Misty Dreams. The purple and green one, I always think of it as that. I have been really enjoying using that recently. I did one of my all-time favorite looks that I've ever done with that palette, and I thought that the pastels in there are absolutely beautiful. The formula of the Black Ash palette that I have is stunning, and I loved the look that I did with that palette as well. When I saw that there was a website called Look Healthy Store, something like that, it's a Asian beauty proprietor store, had in stock these like 3 Narimi palettes that were all from a certain generation, all kind of nudie, not nudie quite, but like beautiful purples and pinks and neutral colors. I was so tempted by those palettes because they really just are absolutely beautiful, and I've been so happy with what I have from that brand. But what I realized is, as I was looking at them, that actually the Odin's Eye Jewels and Gems palette, which I recently kind of put to the test during a week of use, is very similar as far as its overall color palette between those 3 palettes, and really does sort of scratch that itch. And so while I know that the formulas are not the same, I do feel like I have more or less what's there, enough that I don't need to go out and get more eyeshadow palettes. Repeat after me. I don't need to go out and get more eyeshadow palettes, but look how beautiful these are. Like, you just can't tell me they're not gorgeous. They're stunning. There's essentially all of these different Asian beauty brands that have piqued my interest. There's another one called Fidoo or Fidoo that has this very like cutesy looking packaging that's sort of been appealing to me more recently. I don't know what's gotten into me. I've gotten very like, all of a sudden I want things cute again. I don't know. I go through phases. I've been attracted to things that have little smiley faces on them and strawberries and stuff like that. What else? Oh, Shellwe Makeup. Okay, Shellwe is a brand that I've tried a number of things from and I really, really enjoy. They recently came out with a palette called the Wulfa palette. I've seen a number of people that I follow get that in PR or purchase it themselves, and there's this blue shimmer shade in there that looks absolutely outrageous. I definitely had it on my wish list since I saw the promo photos. But again, it's in a palette with other shades that I think are beautiful too. I think overall, could I achieve the vibes of what's there with my own collection? I definitely think I could. And so I haven't been tempted enough to, you know, give them my money to get that as a palette. I believe that brand is going to be doing a collaboration with Freya, who I mentioned. Whenever that gets showcased, whenever that comes out, you can bet I will be very interested because I love Freya. I trust Freya. I think she's probably going to do something super cool with them, so that'll probably be on the radar. Okay, what else? Dinto, another Asian beauty brand. This was another influenced by Ghoul in Japan idea, I guess. They recently came out with this set of lip products. I think they had them in a gloss and a matte version based on Peter Pan in Neverland. books. So their shades are all named after pieces of the Peter Pan universe. If I hadn't been following Ghoul in Japan, it's not something I ever really would have been aware of or noticed, but since following them, yeah, I do want that like sheer plum all over my lips, right? Yes, I totally want that. I guess a few months ago, I did a full lip collection declutter. So I'm looking over there, I'm like looking at my lip collection. Like everything else in my makeup collection, I have a lot of lip products in a lot of categories, and to the point where I think I might actually do another lip declutter pretty soon. So the idea of me bringing in any lip products at this point seems like far-fetched. Like, what would I be thinking? How could I possibly rationalize it to myself with how many lip products I have? The Dinto lip collection based on Peter Pan looks super cute and very, very appetizing. So I thought that looked cute. That's on the list. The Japanese brand Canmake, I have 2 cream shadows from them that I actually purchased ages ago through Amazon. They finally have a US shipping online store, which is amazing because Canmake is like essentially a Japanese drugstore brand, very affordable, very cute, very high quality makeup. It can be difficult to find products, especially newer products from them in stock. So the fact that they have an online US store now is amazing, and it's definitely making me want to try a whole bunch of stuff, including this amazing yellow blush that I need to know how that looks on me, because I want the powder version of this yellow cream blush that I have from Rituel de Fille called Wasp, and that's what that looks like. It looks exactly like that, except in a powder version. So definitely keeping that on my wish list. I know it's a lot of Asian beauty, so apologies, but that's kind of just been my vibe recently. I've seen so many people show off the Black Swan palette from Flower Nose Beauty. I have talked a little bit about Flower Nose. I've never tried the brand before. Some of their packaging appeals to me and some of it doesn't. It's very over the top, it's very ornate, it's very cutesy, and the Black Swan palette to me is the perfect combination of sort of like a little edgier of a look and a very cutesy kind of approach. So that, for that reason, and the fact that there is a stunning red in that palette has really, really appealed to me, and I've almost pulled the trigger on this palette probably like a dozen times, and I just still have kept it on the wish list. It's one of those things that I think will probably at one point make its way to me, but I've been able to talk myself out of it because ultimately it's a cute palette, but I don't know how much use I'm legitimately going to get out of it. And while it's kind of like a collector's piece because of the packaging, I don't want to collect makeup. Let me say that again for the people in the back. I don't want to collect makeup. I have a collector tendency in me, but I don't want to keep falling back into that. I want to have makeup, to use makeup, to be creative with makeup, to do my own kind of art form with makeup, to relax with makeup. That's why I want to have or purchase makeup. I don't want to collect it. So I feel as though this palette, while appealing to me, does fall a little bit more into that collector-y vibe. But like I said, it might make its way to me. We'll see. There were a couple of pink under eye setting powders. The transition there is flawless, right? And eyeshadow, under eye setting powder. There are a couple of pink under eye setting powders that came out recently. Mob Beauty came out with one. Pat McGrath Labs came out with one. I have the white transparent version of the Pat McGrath Labs under eye setting powder. I love it. I use it probably every day. And so I'm super interested in their pink version. But I'm not really supporting Pat McGrath at this point. If I can give my money to somebody else, I'll probably do that. I'm a little bit more interested in maybe picking up at some point the Mob Beauty one. And also from Mob, I have their 1990 lip liner that just released on my wish list. The original creator, one of the original chemists that works for them, that created the very famous Spice lip liner that was for MAC back in the day, have essentially, reclaimed what Spice was, and it's now this 1990 lip liner from Mob. I think is one of those cases of me just like falling falling prey to marketing, and I'm fully aware of that, but the marketing there is good. You guys have a solid marketing plan here. I'm here for it. I'm interested. I do want that. I do want that. But I also know I have a lot of lip liners, and I don't even use lip liner as much as I should. I would really have to be hard up to convince myself that I need to have that lip liner. But I think it's so cute and I love the concept. And so there's a big part of me that's like, yeah, I want to support them. Also, I love everything that I've purchased from Mob Beauty. All the cream shadows that I've purchased, the lipsticks that I have, everything that I've tried from them, I really enjoy. So I don't mind the idea of giving them more money at some point. I just, like I said, I'm trying to be really, 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 really discerning about anything that I ultimately decide to bring in. What else we got? This is a pointless thing to talk about at this point because I can't get it anyway. It's sold out, which is probably a good thing for me. But much like the rest of the makeup loving world, I lost my mind when I saw that new Byredo palette. I was floored. I was like, oh, I really, really, really wanted them to come out with something that I didn't want. And then they went and came out with something that I absolutely wanted. One limited edition. So already that means that, you know, those palettes do sell out. Two, very expensive. Three, I've never tried the brand, or I've never tried the large form palettes from the brand. I have one small thing from them. It makes me a little nervous because I'm like, is the quality there? I definitely have seen them reviewed from enough people that I like love and trust that I'm sure the quality would be there, but none of this is relevant because the palette is sold out, and even when it restocks, I will still probably be on my no buy and not purchasing it. But can we all just take a second? Can we all just take a goddamn second and appreciate that they came out with this beautiful watercolory, cool toned palette that is like literally like such a dream? They had to do it right now, but it's okay. I'll be fine. Don't you worry about me. I'll be just fine. We all do need to collectively appreciate how beautiful this Byredo palette is. Another thing from Byredo that is still on my wish list is their liquid vinyl lipsticks. Now, I was not aware of these until I saw, I think it was Nicolette Panisi, share about them and how much she loves them. I was very intrigued after I saw her show them off. So that is a product that's remained on my wish list, but similarly to everything I said before about lip products, it would take a lot for me to purchase more lip stuff at this point. It's definitely the kind of thing that if someone wanted to get me a nice gift, that would be a good one because they are expensive. We're fine. We got enough stuff to put on our lips. In fact, what I'm wearing right now, I feel like probably similar. This is from Fenty. What else do we have? Oh, okay. I should have talked about this right after the pink powders, but I'm working my way through my setting powder. Right now I have one that's from Kosas. It's fine. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. It's just okay. But there is one called the Portrait Mode. I think it's called Portrait Mode setting powder from Cosmetics that comes in the most cute, wonderful packaging. I mean, I'm super excited about the packaging because it just looks like something I'll want to use, but also just looks like a really nice blurring setting powder. I have a whole list of things that I might want to try in that family from no one other than Homes Tom, who has in detail talked a lot about different blurring powder options that are great, but I am still very interested in large part because of the packaging, but the formula looks good too in this Portrait Mode. When I finish my Kosas powder, which I'm not close to finishing it, but I've made a huge dent in it and I'll probably finish it this year. When that's done, I am going to be evaluating what's up for setting powder at that point. And if Portrait Mode's still around and looks good, that might make its way to me. Win Beauty I mentioned in my last video. I have very mixed feelings about celebrity run makeup brands because some of them I really like, some of them I don't like, some of them I just couldn't care less about. But Serena Williams came out with a new brand and I love the tennis theme of it. I think it's super cute. I'm here for it. Great job. Love that, grass neon green tennis ball packaging color. Very cute. I really wouldn't have had this on my radar though at all for purchasing until I saw Juliet. I talk about Juliet like every other video. Until I saw her post about getting two of the, I think it's the Featherweight lipsticks, and she said that they're similar in her mind but better to the Freck ones, which I've also had on my wish list for a really long time. I mean, maybe it's just about how good the shades that she got look on her, but the way that I was like drooling over those lipsticks after that, I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You've got a lot of really beautiful lipstick. So for now, they're on the wish list, but I'm also just kind of keeping tabs on what people think about the brand because I'd like to know what people think about the foundation. I'd like to know what people think about the concealer. There's a lot of shades there. Has anyone here tried Win Beauty? Let me know, besides Juliet. Okay, this is one that's old and has been on the wish list for quite a while. Another influenced by Hope Mess Tom. The Hindash Beautopsy palette. So I was interested in this from the moment it released because the gradients are so satisfying. I also love the idea of something that actually is a very usable all over face palette, even though generally speaking, I hate face palettes. Don't like them, don't use them. Anytime one has ever entered my collection, it has gone right back out. For that reason, I was sort of really on the fence about it. I'm like, well, how much are you actually going to use this as a face palette? But it still calls to me. It's just the satisfaction of the gradients and the way that I've seen people use them so beautifully and rely on it for so long that it has stayed the test of time on my wish list. I truly don't need it. I just think that it's beautiful. So for that reason, it probably will stay on the wish list. I don't know that it will ever make its way to me. Necromancy Cosmetica. So I have a palette, one of the mini palettes, the Swamp of Sorrows palette from this brand. They, I think, reformulated. I don't know if they reformulated their lipsticks or just made new packaging for their lipsticks, but they have a very extensive lipstick collection and they came out with this beautiful new packaging for it. And I was so impressed on every part of the Swamp of Sorrows palette that I am definitely interested in trying more from the brand. I would love to try their lipstick formula. This is an example where I think they have such unique shades that I would actually be filling a potential gap in my makeup usage if I purchased from them. So they are on the wish list and they're in like a prime position. I was wowed by the detail that went into the thing that I bought from them already, that I want to buy more things from them. There's another indie beauty brand that I have had my eye on for single shadows. So Sinful Echos. This is a brand that released a palette as their first kind of thing. When the palette came out, I have to say I wasn't so super excited or into the palette, but since that, they've been coming out with singles that are curated and look absolutely beautiful. I believe they're changing over their pans, which they launched as like square or rectangle, to be circle pans. You know, they are a small indie. They're a recently launched indie, but they are definitely on my radar. And I love the shades that I've seen from creators that I follow who have showcased them, either gotten them in PR or purchased them. Similar to Necromancy, they have a pretty high spot as far as what might come to me when my no buy's over. Furious shade, that blue looks stunning. The Lotus shade looks beautiful. There's just a bunch of them. I think Riptide is another one. Very, very tempted by those singles. Absolutely beautiful. So that's another indie that's on my radar. There's another base product that definitely I have my eye on. That is the Lisa Eldridge skin tint that was recently released. I love a skin tint. I live for a skin tint. I love the lipsticks that I have from Lisa Eldridge. I have not tried anything else from her brand. I trust that woman with my life. I trust that she's not going to put out a really bad product, and this product looks better than not bad. It looks really good, and it looks incredibly like right up my alley. So it looks beautiful, and I think that I think it would be something that I will love and use. I've seen a lot of people review it at this point. I feel confident in that product that I would love it and it would work for me. The only thing that I'm hesitant about is figuring out the right shade for me, and I know you can get samples to try and figure that out. So that will probably be my next step at some point. Test out some different color options and then decide if I think it's worth the investment. I should have mentioned this back when I was talking about Asian beauty, but there are these quads from Kaleidos that, for whatever reason, I can't stop thinking about them. I definitely don't need them. There's no rationalization that I could make for purchasing these and bringing them into my collection. But every time I see them, I'm like, I still want that. I still do. And there's a number of colorways within these quads that interest me. There's a cold brew one, black jasmine. There's a purple one. I don't know. I love them. I know that I generally like the Kaleidos formulas for shadow, so those have stayed on the wish list. They're probably going to stay on the wish list. It's the kind of thing that if anyone wants to pass on their old Kaleidos quads to me, I'm here. I refuse to let myself buy them because I just know I'm going to look at myself later and be like, why did you do that? You do not need any more eyeshadow, and you definitely don't need these little like tiny neutral quads. I think I'm going to cap it though. I think I'm going to wrap it up at this point. I've definitely talked you through the main things that are kind of top of mind for me right now. I'm always adding and subtracting from my wish list. I'm always talking myself off the ledge. I just want you to know that if you're in the same boat as me, you're definitely not alone. It's okay to be on a no buy. It's okay to be on a no buy and still crave things. It's okay to have slip ups. It's okay to talk yourself off the ledge. Whatever you're going through, it's okay. It will be okay. And I hope that I can always be a resource if you ever want to chat one-to-one. I'm definitely available. You can DM me on Instagram. I love to chat with you about, these kinds of things that are going on in our brains, our daily struggles, our, ins and outs, our ups and downs. I just want you to know it's okay. I am being as diligent as I can right now with myself to stay strong, to be focused on the creative side of makeup, not the purchasing side of makeup, but we're all human. We all make slip-ups. We all make mistakes. And I don't want you to beat yourself up about that if you've done that. It will be okay. With that, I hope you enjoyed seeing a peek at my wish list. I hope that this was helpful to you in some way. I would love it if you haven't already, if you consider subscribing to the channel. It's definitely awesome to have you here. With that, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever you are doing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.